Hi, this is a video demo on how to do the analysis services using SQL 2022 Developer Edition and Visual Studio 2022. I am following this instruction that I posted on Blackboard, so if you are able to access it, you may want to follow along. I may have some more notes posted in here that I may not do on the demo. First thing that I want to do is to start my SQL Server. I'm going to search for SQL Server Management Studio. It's already up. So I'm going to right click on it and then run as an administrator. Here's the SQL Server Management Studio. It just flashed. I was using 20.2. Here's the interface. I'm going to first connect to the database engine using my SQL Server Developer Edition 2022 using Windows authentication. Encryption is optional and I trust this certificate. I'm going to connect. So here is the connection successful. Here's my computer name, the SQL name, and then SQL Server edition, which is 16, which means it is a 2022 edition. Here's my login ID, and then if I expand the databases, you can see that I have the AdventureWorks DW 2019. I'm using AdventureWorks DW 2019 because when I tested out the 2022 edition, it wasn't very stable, so you can use this um, for this exercise. I am also going to connect to the analysis server, analysis services here, and I'm going to do that. Same server name. I'm going to copy this for later use, and I'm going to connect. So you can see that I have a database engine and analysis server down here. When I expand the databases here, you will see that I have a dimensional project number 1 only because I already created, but I'm going to do it again. But you should not see this. But what we're doing is we are pulling the data from here, database engine, and analyzing it uh, and posting it in the analysis server. Okay. So now I'm going to start the Visual Studio. So I have a Visual Studio 2022. So I'm going to right click on it and run as an administrator. Oops. I just flashed on the other monitor, but this is where you end up. So I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to type in analysis. Oops. I'm going to pick the first one. I'm going to click next. I'm just going to accept the default name, and now it is a project 2. But you should type it something like Kim or whatever, right? I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to be consistent in accepting the default, but you should add your last name here or something like that. I'm going to create, and this is what you should see. On the data source below the project name, right click on it and say add data source. And this is what you see. Click on the second choice, and you may not see this if you're doing it for the first time. So I'm going to create new here. Choose the second one and create new. And so you should see this connection manager. Make sure your provider is the native client. And then for the server name, I copied the SQL Server name, so I'm going to just paste it in here as this one. Okay. And then down here, select, do the drop down, and select the DW 2019. Okay. And you may want to do the test connection, and it is successful. And you can click OK. And here, just click Next. Here, typically, you could use the credentials of the current user, but that also has been a little flaky, or it may not work all the time. So I'm going to use the username and a password that I use to log into my computer for the Windows authentication. Okay, so I'm going to put that in. If you don't have the domain name like I do, you put in whatever username is when you log into a computer, and just click next, and you can finish. And you should see the data source listed under the data sources. Now, similar to the reporting services, now we need to create a view. So select the data source view, right click on it, and choose the new data source view. You should see the wizard come up, and you can just click on the next. You should see the AdventureWorks Data Warehousing 2019 already pre-populated, so I'm going to click next. So here are all the objects that we can use. For this assignment, pick these guys, which is on this instruction. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'll select them. And the way you select them is just click on here, and then you can just click this to move it over here. And do the same thing for the rest of them. Here's the dim geography, dim product, and product subcategory, and then dim promotion, and then fact internet sale. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So I chose all 7 of them here, and now I'm going to just click next, and I'm going to say finish. So we see the data source, we see the view. Now we need to create the cube. So here, just select it, right click on it, and say new cube. And this is what you should just click on the next. We're going to use the existing tables, and so click on next. So here, what you select, it sort of depends on your company a policy or a goal, or what you want to achieve. But generally, you are going to use a fact table. So we only have one of them, so we're just going to select that, and then we're just going to click the next. And in terms of how we are going to measure that fact table, depends also on what you're looking at. But for this assignment, we're just going to pick some of the things that may be useful for us, and I put them on the instruction here for you to just choose these guys. Okay, right here. So you can just check off the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Make sure that you uncheck these guys as well as the measure, because you already selected the measure. So I got rid of that one, got rid of the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, and I'm just going to look at these guys. And so you can just click on next. For the dimensions, we're going to use all the dimensions, and the fact table should not be a dimension. So I'm going to uncheck these guys and keep the rest of them, and just click on the next. And here looks okay. Look at that, and just click on the finish. And now you should be able to see all 3 of them: the data source, the view, and the cube. Now we are getting ready to process the cube and do the analysis. So the first thing is just select the cube, go over to the project, and then scroll down and select the last one with the properties. And here you'll see on the left hand side, these things look okay. So click on the deployment, and for the server, you should get rid of the local host, but for remember that it is showing local host. So if you are not using your own computer or whatever, you may need to use a local host. But for me, I'm going to get rid of this and paste in my server name. Okay. So anyway, so that's that. And then click apply, and then click OK. Now that we connected the cube to the right server, we are going to now process this cube. So right click on, select on the cube, right click on it, and click on the select the process. And you may get this message that it's out of date or whatever, then it's okay, just click yes. You may see some information deploying here. You may also see this little message here. Let's see. The message that says deployment completed successfully in green is showing on the other side. So I'm not able to show that, but let me show it on the instruction. So this is what you should see if you're using only one monitor. And in here in the process cube, click on the run, and you will see that just like the reporting services, it is going to give you some information, and you should see the process successfully completed. So you should see this, and you probably need to take a screenshot of this. But anyway, you can close this guy, and you can also close this one here. So what did it just happen? What happened was that the cube has been processed and it's been placed into the SQL Server. So we need to go and check and verify over there. So let me bring that SQL Server right here. And if I refresh this guy here, here's a refresh, you see now the project number 2. This one was created before the demo. This is a new one. Okay, so you should see this if there was a connection properly processed. And I think we need to take a, so you can kind of see here, you can expand it, and you should be able to see the data source and stuff. AdventureWorks here, and you can also even do some things here. But anyway, I just wanted to show you. Oh, here's a cube, I think, right? So you can do that. You might even be able to browse. So the reason why I'm showing you this is just in case that Visual Studio doesn't show you all this, then you can still do the analysis services here. Okay, but I'm not going to do it because this is not the standard practice. So I'm going to just put this out of the way. So we're back on the Visual Studio here, and now here just click on the browser, and it should load the data for you. And here is the AdventureWorks that we imported according to the measures and the dimensions that we created. Again, if you don't see this, then you can do the remaining portion of the assignment inside the SQL Server. But since we see it here, which the way it should be, I am going to just continue on the Visual Studio. Maybe just another tip, if you don't see this here and you get some yellow warning message here that you need to reconnect, you can click on this guy here. Let's see. This guy here is a reconnect, so you can reconnect and it should render this on for you. And basically here, the way you do the analysis is you pick and choose however you want to do it. But for us, I'm going, you can just expand these guys here. You can do expand this here as a fact table. That would be the criteria. And as well as some KPIs if you know anything about that. You can expand these dimensions too. There's a customer key, there's a product key, and stuff like that. And all you have to do, and there's a promotion too, right? So you can, basically all you got to do is just pick and choose whatever you want from here onto here, right? So I'm gonna start with maybe a customer key. So I'm just gonna click on this and just drag it over here, nice and easy. And then maybe I'll do the promotion key. Let's see, where do I see the promotion key? So here's the promotion key, so I'm going to bring that up next. And then what else do I want? Product subcategory maybe. So here's a product subcategory key. I'll do that. And then maybe lastly the order quantity. quantity maybe from the fact table here, order quantity, so I can just bring this guy over here, okay? And then there's headings and stuff, and all you got to do is just click this blue line to click to execute the query. So I'm going to do that, and it's going to run this for you. So this gives you uh, some analysis on your data from the data warehousing information we have according to the customer keys, the promotion keys and stuff like that. So you can play with this, but this is how you do the analysis, and that's pretty much it. And so you just take a screenshot and you'll be done. Okay, hopefully this is helpful. Take care. Bye bye.